Before Craig Melvin became a familiar face on national television, before his calm presence helped guide millions through breaking news and uncertain mornings, there was a quieter journey unfolding, one marked not by instant success, but by persistence, doubt, and an unwavering belief in the value of honest storytelling. For viewers who see him today, polished and composed, it's easy to assume his rise was smooth. But Craig Melvin's path to becoming a national icon was anything but conventional. It began far from the bright studio lights. In local newsrooms, Craig learned the craft the hard way. Long hours, limited resources, stories that rarely earned recognition beyond the communities they served. He wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing credibility. Each assignment, no matter how small, carried weight. Not because it would advance his career, but because real people were trusting him with their stories. Those early years were formative, but they were also humbling. There were moments when progress felt painfully slow, when peers moved ahead faster, when opportunities seemed just out of reach. Like many professionals of his generation, Craig learned to measure success not by speed, but by substance. He showed up, he listened, he worked. Still, doubt crept in. In an industry known for fierce competition and constant comparison, Craig faced the quiet question many never voice aloud. Am I enough? Was his measured style too restrained? Was his thoughtful delivery too subtle in a world that increasingly rewarded volume over depth? These questions didn't disappear when he moved beyond local news. In fact, they intensified. Transitioning to larger platforms brought new pressures, higher expectations, sharper scrutiny, and the constant awareness that one misstep could define perception. Craig wasn't interested in becoming a personality, he wanted to remain a journalist. That choice, while principles, wasn't always rewarded quickly. There were stories he wanted to tell that didn't fit neatly into headlines, conversations he believed deserved more time than the format allowed. And behind the scenes, he often wrestled with the tension between staying true to himself and adapting to an evolving media landscape. For audiences in their 60s and beyond, this struggle feels familiar. Many spent decades navigating workplaces that changed faster than they did, balancing integrity with expectation, holding on to values while learning new rules. Craig's experience mirrors that generational reality, the understanding that success isn't just about reaching the destination, but about who you become along the way. What ultimately set Craig apart wasn't ambition, it was consistency. He didn't reinvent himself for attention, he refined himself through experience. He learned when to speak and when to let silence do the work. He built trust slowly, knowing that credibility once earned lasts longer than applause. And then, almost quietly, the national spotlight arrived. Not as a sudden breakthrough, but as a recognition of years spent doing the work the right way. Viewers responded not to flash, but to authenticity. To a man who didn't perform empathy, he practiced it. Yet even as his profile grew, the struggles didn't vanish. The demands of national television brought relentless schedules and emotional fatigue. Reporting on tragedy after tragedy takes a toll, especially for someone who genuinely cares about the human impact behind the headlines. Craig carried those stories home with him, often processing them privately, determined not to let the weight harden him. Behind the scenes, he leaned on family, reflection, and routine to stay grounded. He learned, sometimes the hard way, that resilience isn't about enduring endlessly, it's about knowing when to pause. This self-awareness became part of his quiet evolution. Rather than letting success define him, Craig allowed it to deepen him. He became more intentional, more reflective, and more protective of the life he built beyond the camera. In doing so, he modeled something rarely celebrated in public life: sustainable success. Today, Craig Melvin stands as a national icon, not because he chased the spotlight, but because he respected the journey. His story resonates deeply with those who understand that the most meaningful careers are often built slowly, through setbacks and self-doubt, guided by principle rather than urgency.
It's a reminder that unconventional paths often produce the most enduring legacies. Craig's rise from local news to national prominence wasn't about luck, it was about patience, about showing up when no one was watching, about believing that integrity still matters, even when it takes longer. And for anyone watching who ever wondered if their steady, uncelebrated effort was enough, Craig Melvin's story offers quiet reassurance. Sometimes the untold struggles are not signs of failure, they're proof that you're building something real.